How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Parents vs. Gaming. This is episode 43. We're super excited. It is Father's Day, and we've got a couple of guests. So happy Father's Day to all the father gamers out there. Had an amazing day with my own son, but I want to welcome our cast for the day. Of course, my co-host, Kia. Kia, how are you?
Doing good. Allergies kicking my butt, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Doing good. And how was Father's Day for you? Did
for
Mr.
us?
J?
It was good. Well, I say that Josh had to go do some work.
You made him work, or he had to go
I didn't make
work?
him. I did not make him do it. He wanted to get it done. It's for it's for the new place. So there was a couple of little things he wanted to get done over there. So he went and did that. And when he went and did that, Kane and I went to the store because I needed stuff. And Kane picked out a card for him, and picked out a little candy thing and a cup or whatever. And I was like, okay. So
I did the same. I didn't have to work, thankfully, but I got my son yesterday. Picked him up from his mom's. We brought him back here. We played we got this inflatable water slide. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
So he loved it. Little splash pool at the bottom. Climb up to the top. Slide. It was a blast. Absolutely loved it. So
awesome.
Woke up today, had breakfast, played more in the slide. He napped. He's almost potty trained. He's working on it. So just the fact he's just turned 2, I think, is a pretty big achievement. So
that's huge. You know, that's a big achievement.
His mom obviously has done a lot of the work, but just trying to follow through with the groundwork she laid. Now we've got 2 very quiet guests with us today, Kia. We'll introduce them. We've got Rachel, which is Mrs. Shadows. And we've got Taylor, which is Master of Shadows. And if you've watched a lot of our episodes from the beginning, you definitely have seen him around with some of his analysis. And he joins us on the Kenichi Yeehaw podcast from time to time, which is our anime podcast. He's also on the Last Choice Gamecast when we do have time to put that together. But it gets tough. A lot of us are parents, and we wanted to introduce Rachel and Taylor, and I believe this is Rachel's first time on one of our podcasts. Mm-hmm. They just announced to the Last Choice Network team and all of our gaming friends that you guys are going to have a baby, correct?
Little baby shadows.
Little baby shadows. So that means more than one?
Yeah.
Do not go.
You see, Kia? He said it on his own.
He said there's 3 of us now. He caught
there's
himself.
3 shadows.
There'll be 3.
This is Mr. and Baby Shadows.
Baby shadows.
Well, I'm going to take it over to you guys. Walk us through. How did she let you know, Taylor? What happened? I mean, obviously we know what happened to get there, but
skip that part.
We don't need those details.
Yeah, skip that part and let us know. How you found out after?
Well, it kind of turned out like she wasn't really feeling a little off one day, so we decided to take a test, and it came back. It was positive, but we're like, all right, let's wait a couple weeks and we'll take another one. So we took another one, and it was positive again. So we're like, all right, well, we're ready for this. So we just needed to get the doctor visit and everything set up. So this Thursday, she's going to go check and make sure how everything's going along. So she's around 3-4 weeks, probably, maybe a little bit longer than that.
Okay, so pretty early.
I don't know.
Pretty early, yes.
Mama Shadow, my mama says 6 to 8, so we'll see.
6 to 8, okay. That might be more.
Yeah, you never know. It really just depends.
I mean, you kind of know, right?
Well, I
guess.
Say that? You say that, but that's really hard to tell.
I did not realize I was pregnant. By the time I got to my doctor, I was already almost 12 weeks.
Oh wow!
I didn't even know I was.
It's amazing
pregnant.
To me that some people can go so long without something.
So yeah.
It all depends on how your body handles it, really.
Yeah. All right.
Some people will notice it earlier.
Mm-hmm. Being the Parents versus Gaming podcast that we are, obviously we deal with a lot of parents and gaming and how to manage gaming and how to manage kids. And of course, Kia being a mom, a little bit older son than me, he's able to play some games. I have a 2-year-old, a number of our group in the Last Choice Network and some of our gaming people, whether it's Ender or Jay or Wright, it's a lot of parents in our group. And, aside from that, you've kind of got the two biggest gamers in our group away from the rest of us, Kia, are Quick and Shadow.
Yes.
And they are not parents or have not been parents. And they have a lot of time to game. And, as a parent, sometimes trying to balance, especially trying to be a streamer, kind of sometimes you can game a lot. And sometimes you feel like you miss weeks. I've missed 2 weeks between my job and having time with my kid. So we kind of want to talk about your guys' gaming habits now as a couple without kids. What is your weekly hours in video games, you think, Rachel?
Mine almost non-existent because I work an hour away, so I'm always exhausted by the time I get home during summer.
Now, this is coming from the person that 100%ed Zelda Breath of the Wild just a month ago.
I think that was more than a month ago, but
Maybe 2-3 months.
Maybe
ago
2-3 months. That's still a lot of time.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
You gotta put a few
It's been a
hundred
while.
hours. You gotta put a few hundred hours into that. You didn't just do that in a weekend.
no, I did not.
And
But something like that would be easier to do than like a grind out game where you can pick up the Switch, play it for a little bit, and set it down. You don't have to play it 100% of the time.
And for someone that says it's non-existent, I see their name getting carried on Destiny in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, listen, look at her hiding now. Yeah, Xbox. That Xbox gamer tag. Someone also can add you if they're watching or listening to this episode. They're going to be able to get that little telltale of you were on there. You'll learn to hide when you don't want your other friends. But the problem is now we're all connected on too many platforms. It's too hard to hide on multiple things we forget.
Oh, and games tell off on YouTube
something
Yeah.
tells on us. Always.
I was gonna say some games it doesn't matter if you're hiding offline.
I thought you
it
weren't.
tells
I thought
on you
you
anyways.
I thought you weren't playing Destiny
Yep.
tonight. I'm not playing Destiny. Well, on my clan page it says that you are.
That
Shit.
shows you're on.
I'm on. Yeah, I
Yep.
was trying to do a raid without you guys. Sorry. Taylor, what about you? What's your average gaming habit right now? Be honest.
It's pretty bad right now, but here this week wasn't too bad because I only played hard twice this week because just didn't feel like playing. Played more on my phone where I was just sitting there watching TV and letting my phone play
Hey, that
itself,
counts. That's a video game.
Yes, but I can set the phone down and let it play itself because it has an AI
And
mode.
you got
I
me
have been
into
doing.
that game too.
Yeah, see, look at you guys cheating using AI.
Like
Using
right now,
bots.
I'm on
I don't have access to
this talking to y'all, and the game is literally playing itself in the background behind y'all right now. I don't have to play it, which is good because things like that will help because I'm still getting the game, but at the same time, I don't have to physically play it. I can set it down and take care of what I need to.
And the only reason it's playing right now is because right before this podcast, he found a way to do it on his computer.
Hey,
all right.
us gamers find ways around things.
Yes.
True, very
That
true.
is true.
Okay, so the big question, Key and I would love to hear from you, is let's fast forward a year from now. You're having your first Father's Day, and I would assume you'll get your first Mother's Day with your child actually born, right? I think that'll fit inside the timeline, right, Kia?
It'll
Depends
be-
on. I was gonna say depends.
I mean,
on
unless you
when
go like
the-
11 months, I guess. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I
I wouldn't personally recommend that.
That doesn't sound like a good
so
idea.
so let's
Yeah,
fast
no, it's
forward
already
a
coming up.
year from now. What do you and the reason I'm going to ask this question, I want you to answer it as what you think and as honest as you can, because when we pull out episode 80 something a year from now, I want to bring this archive back up, and we're going to see your predictions, and we're going to see what you said a year ago and what you'll be saying a year from now. So, Taylor, what do you foresee your typical day and between work and then having time to game with a newborn?
Lucky to get 2 hours. Lucky with a newborn,
Per day?
if that.
Is that your honest assessment, or are you trying to be real?
I try to be as real as possible because I'm not. if I get the chance to play, like Rachel allows me to, it might be longer. But if she needs help taking care of the little one, it's not going to happen. I know that because I was once engaged to a girl that had 2 kids, and I didn't have any time to myself. Because I've been there, at least once.
A little bit, still a little bit different when it is yours. I will say that. And Rachel, what about you? What do you think?
I think you'll be lucky to see me once a week.
And Kia, what kind of questions do you have? Let's throw some mama
advice. I don't really have any
advice.
questions, but
or what's your
those
comments?
are pretty realistic numbers.
What was it like for you, Kia, when you first?
I gamed 0 for a long time, being a newborn, and I also breastfed. So he was 100% reliant on me. There wasn't because he refused bottles too, so I couldn't even pump and give him a bottle because he would not drink it. So he wouldn't take pacifiers, nothing. So for a while, and being a newborn and breastfeeding, trying to establish a schedule. That's cute. that's cute. But thankfully, I will say he was very, very. All babies are good, but he was just. He kind of set his own schedule, which honestly made it a lot easier on both of us, because I wasn't trying to force him to be like, okay, you have to eat at this time and you take your nap at this time. So it was easier on me to do that. Now, not everybody parents that way, and I understand that 100%, and I get it. There are people that are like, no, my child, like my sister is like that. She's like, she naps at this time, and I'm like, oh, okay, like because I babysit, so I'm like, okay, you're going down for a nap, kid. I don't care if you just woke up, So, so I think I think parenting styles are a lot different and stuff, but I can say that from experience that for probably the first couple of months, if not a little bit longer, I did not game at all, like 0. It was non-existent for me, just because there was so much for me to do. I still am a stay-at-home mom too, so him always going to work and stuff, and he took I will say that I was really blessed. He was able to take the first 2 weeks off. So he spent the week with me in the hospital and then a week at home. So it was really nice to have that support. And I understand that not everybody can do that either. But I will say that it was a blessing that he was able to do that. And he did not want to go back to work either. He was like, but I'm going to miss my boo-boo. It's like, just go back to work. But it was a blessing to have him for those 2 weeks too. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, those are pretty realistic because like I said, probably for the first 2 or 3 months, my gaming did not exist at all. So,
mine was a situation obviously a little bit different. I have shared custody with my son, so him being a newborn, he was very similar to Kia. He did not take bottles. She had to nurse him all the time, so the attachment was there 24/7. So obviously, I didn't get to see him much, but when I did get to see him, because she always needed to be available for the nursing and that, I was at her house most of the time, spending my time with him there, whether it's naps or it's basically spending as much time as I was allowed. COVID really threw a wrench into a lot of our plans. And so for me, the gaming, I wouldn't say it really died down, just for the simple fact that I didn't have him, right? So he's with his mom. But I was always distracted, right? I'd be playing a game and constantly texting. I know that Master Shadows remembers the day of me. Literally, we would be in the middle of a Warzone game, and I just was not there. They're like, James, hello? And, something
I saw a
I've
couple
always...
of those streams where he did that too.
and
I thought he just fell asleep from old age.
Hey, come on now. But I will say I am, and I would love to hear Shadow's take on this, and maybe even Rachel's. I have found a really good group that does have a lot of parents and people that are super understanding. It doesn't matter And I think that if you want to continue gaming, I think being a part of a community like this, whether it's streamer communities, just genuine friends, or any kind of gamers that you play with, nobody was like, I don't want to play with James anymore because of this. There is one parent in our group that we got annoyed with when it came to his parenting and just the way he is, but he would constantly say, no, I'm good. And we would say, hey, go be a dad if you have to be a dad. And he just would always, want to game. And it kind of put us on those spots where we're like, listen, we're okay. Just let us know that you might disappear. And then at least we know. So I think sometimes it's a lot of that communication. But we do have a group that is super understanding. And I'm sure, Rachel and Taylor, that's something that you're probably pretty happy to know, that nobody you play with is going to disappear if we don't hear from you for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nothing will show you who your true friends are like having a child.
What are y'all doing?
See?
I
like how Kia's like, I don't know, and it could be any three of them. It's not my window. She tried to keep a straight face, like it was like, did you guys hear that? Who's making those noises?
He's playing Apex right now. Okay.
Again, if you are listening or watching this podcast later, this is our Father's Day episode. We are super excited. We are announcing tonight that Mrs. Shadows and Master Shadows are due to have their own child. Do you guys? I would love to know. Do you guys have a preference?
We're opposite of each other. If she wants a girl, I want a boy.
Ooh.
Okay, no, I didn't say I wanted a girl. I said I had a girl name picked, but you said no to that girl name.
Do we get to know the girl name picked?
It was two of our friends already have the name.
Oh.
Two of them.
Andrea.
Tyler, and Wright both have that name already. So we'd have
Oh.
3 Andrea girls in our group already. And especially since Tyler's literally my best friend, it would be a little awkward.
It would be. I could see that. Kia, when you were thinking of names, how did you think about what your friends named their kids or anything like that?
Not really. But at the same time, and all my friends had already had kids like way before us. It was just funny because we got married before everybody, but they all had kids before us. So we were kind of like one of the last to have a kid, but I didn't really like think on it too hard because sometimes that can be like honestly picking names out is like going to be so hard because you're going to sit there like I knew someone with that name and I really didn't like that person and you're going to be like that name's gone.
I always worried about how my kid's name can get changed into being teased in school.
Yeah.
I always thought about names to be teased.
So one thing that I always thought was really good, and it's actually really good advice, go with a name that rolls off the tongue when you yell.
Yes.
Like if you have to holler that name, holler the names that you're thinking about. Like, I'm serious. Like, yell them like you're having to yell for your kid or something. And if it like rolls off the tongue like really easily for you, then it's like that actually might be a good name.
It's funny you say that, Kia, because I used to think of my parents yelling at me or different coaches yelling at me, and my name's James Ayers, right? So people, James Ayers, and I literally said to Parker's mom, before he was born, she was like, "Well, what's your thought?" I was like, "I just don't want his first name to be one syllable. I can't do it. Like, I don't want to do that to him. At least 2 syllables. At least."
Could you imagine what my parents had to do when they yelled my name?
Killa.
That's only part of it. That's not even the whole
Wait, give us
name.
your full name. Give us your full name.
My whole first name is Kia Chandra, and my middle name is Ree. So it does go really well together. But could you imagine having to yell that?
I would have been calling you K Ree.
Look, I'm telling you
hey,
right
K-Ree.
now. If my mom said my first name, like my first full name, I was like, all right, might be kind of in trouble. If she said my entire name, my butt was gonna be blistered when I came home.
Hey, yeah, that was a thing back home for sure.
It was like, that's a lot to say. Okay.
Yeah.
if a parent throws first and middle at you,
You're in trouble.
you're in trouble.
You're in some deep trouble.
If they throw the last name on top of it too,
Oh yeah.
you're really in trouble.
Yeah, and my maiden name was Polish, so it was also a mile long. So
And before we
first name,
before we continue this, I want to give a couple of shout outs. I got Brett Hawley on Facebook says Happy Father's Day. Thank you so much, Brett. Brett, I'm sure you're keeping up on the NHL playoffs right now. The Stanley Cup final looks like an absolute joke, and Tampa definitely does not belong on the same ice. And on Twitch, we've got Mizzle, who's been following me and Ender a lot on Tarkov. Mizzle says awesome and congrats. And Alaskan Wolf says, oh wow, a full house tonight. Alaskan Wolf, we are talking about Mrs. Shadows and Master of Shadows soon to be parenting and what that's going to do to their gaming life. We are talking about names right now. Rachel says possibly Andrea, but it sounds like that might be off the books. Taylor, do you have a boy name right off the top of your head that you at least is a front runner?
The one I want, my cousin ruined that for me by naming her son after our grandpa.
Oh.
My son's named after my brother that passed. His middle name is, so you could always do the middle name. Yeah. Throw the grandpa name in for the middle name. I always think that's a good tribute.
Because my grandpa was Robert Poston, and we always called him Bubba. So
Ender says 7. I'm guessing that's 7. The name you want. Name it 7, or 7 kids. Maybe he says 7 kids because your RNG's so good, you get everything.
No.
Y'all stop trying to curse these people. Like, stop it. I'm gonna hunt both of y'all down and slap them for you. Like, y'all stop. Don't be cursing them like this.
Yeah, Mizzle
are retired.
Mizzle and Alaskan Wolf both say your gaming life not existed. Yeah. Newborn and gaming. Honestly, Ender says he was quoting a Seinfeld reference.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think when it comes to gaming, it's just going to be when you can, but there's not going to be a lot. Your numbers are pretty realistic, honestly.
I mean, your nap times are a good thing to keep if you're not trying to catch sleep.
I was about to say, if they're not trying to
Rachel will probably be sleeping, and Taylor will be trying to quietly game. Guys, I can't talk. Rachel's sleeping. She hasn't slept in 4 days.
I'll just shut the door like I always do.
I was like, well, the good thing is you shut that door to our bedroom, and it's nothing from down that hallway.
Nothing.
Oh, that's good. That's going to be good.
Yeah, Ender's got
away from it.
Ender's got the Kenneth Kennedy Kendrick. He said don't do that. Melena's kids are all Nadia, Naomi, and Natalie. They're all in names. My cousins are like that too. There's a Nathaniel, Nicole, and Natalie. I've never been into the same initial name, but some people like it.
My parents had this weird thing going where they were using different letters of the alphabet to name first and middle names. So like my older brother was Jeremy Coe, and then you had Clayton Dean, Zachary Ryan, and then Taylor Everett. So they were always trying to pick 2 letters separate in alphabet from each other.
Oh, that's actually
Zachary Ryan is off limits. There are no more Zachary Ryans in space.
There are 3 of them in our family right now.
There are 3.
Oh,
and
wow.
2 of them are on my side.
Oh my goodness.
So
that is not a name to be used.
Well, are you guys excited? What's your take so far? Are you nervous?
Not really. No.
It's
gonna take more than that.
Here's the question I really have, and Kia, you might have to jump into this a little bit.
Okay.
How much gaming is Taylor going to be doing over the next 9 months?
A shit ton.
As much as possible.
Sorry.
I'm going to tell you right now, me and Josh went through the entire Halo series that was out at the time. Because we know they've come out with more. Anyways, we went through the entire Halo game series while I was pregnant multiple times. Especially towards the end of my pregnancy because I am a smaller person and my baby was big.
See, you're bed rest a lot, I assume.
towards the end of my pregnancy, my doctor kind of wanted me to like just be chill, try to relax as much as possible. Thankfully, I actually did not have a lot of swelling, although I felt like a beached whale most of the time. When I look back at pictures, I'm like, oh damn, I was all belly. I really hadn't, like, I was all belly, and my back hurt a lot because of it. So it was not as fun. But yeah, so for like the last month or so, we literally sat on the couch and just played Halo. And to this day, I will never forget one of the days I actually had to run to Walmart to get something for myself. And Kane was only a couple weeks old, so I hadn't left him yet. You know?
Wow.
And I was like, I really gotta go. And he's like, babe, it's okay. I got this. You go. And I'm like, okay, because I had just nursed him. So I was like, he's got to be right. He's got to be okay, right? So I left. And when I come home, he's rocking Kane. And he has the Halo music going in the background.
Oh,
And I
wow.
walk in. And he goes, it was the only thing that would make him be quiet. I was like, oh.
That's because you probably played so much while you were
Because we
pregnant.
played so much Halo. It literally was the only thing that would like helped him. And I will say that, Taylor, as a dad, you have to find what works for you and the baby, because what works for her and the baby will not be the same for you and the baby.
Nope.
It's just how it is. So yeah, so I was very thankful that he was like, he didn't call me at all. He didn't he didn't freak out. He didn't call me like, hey, the baby's crying, come home now. It was just as simple as he figured out what worked for him, and basically it was just holding him while Halo was playing in the background. So my kid loved Halo music. So
that is a really soothing sound, though, too.
It is a very soothing sound.
Like, not the guitar riff picks up, but like the beginning of it.
The very beginning of it,
operatic.
Yes, it's very, very soothing and very pretty. So yeah.
Well, before we say goodbye, once again, congrats to you guys. And like I said, if you're joining live, we're celebrating the announcement of Master of Shadows and Mrs. Shadows, announcing they are soon to be parents. I would like to throw on a quick little gaming thing here, since this is Parents versus Gaming. We do some video game stuff here. Kia, I'm going to throw it to you off the top of your head.
Oh, God. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Before I do that, I got a question. Just a first-time chatter jumped into Twitch, says, as parents, do you have a change on the stance games don't need a rating because games don't cause someone to act out criminally? Or in terms of GTA, what harm will it a child if they see a hooker or a shootout? Oh, we got a real question here. We've gone down these paths here. I like having Taylor on with this as well. So, as parents, do you have a change on the stance games don't need a rating? Games don't. I'll speak first.
So,
just on the first thing you say, I'm gonna say I do think games need a rating. I will never say that I don't think games need a rating. The number one reason I think games need a rating is because as an adult, one, I do want adult games. I want to play adult games, and I don't mean adult, hooker games or something like that. No, I just mean adult games, whether it's got language or whether it's a little bit more violent or just kind of like seeing a more adult style movie. I also think it's super important for parents that don't understand gaming. I think the rating can save them. I think sometimes the rating is super confusing. It's not. I kind of just
we have
wish
a website
because
for that though.
Yeah, we do have a website, but I will say I kind of wish games were just rated the same as movies, because that's generally accepted just worldwide, and it's easier for people that don't really know what they're doing. I know that gaming is different for hardcore gamers. They're going to be like, no, we should have our own thing and yada. But it's not for hardcore gamers. The ratings aren't for hardcore moviegoers. It's for the average person.
It's for the average person
that doesn't care. So that's my initial take on that. I'm going to kick it over to you, Kia. What's your initial thought on, do games need a rating?
I believe games do need a rating. And mostly because, like you said, sometimes as adults, we want that more adult content. And we do have a site that helps you break down what these ratings mean. I do think that the rating system would be nicer if it was kind of more like the movies. It's a little easier and simpler to deal with. But also, when it comes to ratings for games, I also believe that it is up to the parent. Because some kids might be mature enough to handle different games. Um, I mean, I personally don't allow my son to game online unless it's with me. And he's not allowed to have a mic because he's a kid. And I know how people can be. I've had someone do it to me, and I'm an adult. And I've had people go off on me for stupid things. And it's as stupid as it is. Every once in a while, you get that one guy who comes in and he's like, "Oh, you need to go back to the kitchen." Well, I'll go back to that kitchen, all right. But you're not gonna want me to come back. But it is. I do believe it is 100% up to the parent when it comes to letting your child play a game that might be rated mature or whatever. It is 100% up to the parent, I feel. But I do feel like games still need that rating.
Rachel, what about you?
Do I think games need a rating? Yes, and I do agree with the statement that it does need to be more along the lines of the movie ratings, just so it's more understandable to the majority of the population. But at the same time, it's like, make the kid understand, like, this is what this is. Like, don't just, I mean, like, plain explain it to them, like, this is what this is. This is why we encourage you not to play this type of thing, blah, blah, blah. You know, obviously once they're old enough. But in a sense, give the kid the benefit of the doubt.
What about you, Taylor? Your initial thought on this?
They definitely need a rating because the way I see it, that was the way the government tried to control video gaming back in the day. And if you take that away from gaming, then what's to say the government doesn't step in and say all games have to be below a certain degree of like violence and everything else, so they all become one generic genre at that point in time.
That's true.
Because that allows game studios to literally make different varieties of games from all the way from kids to teenagers to mature. So you actually can place them in their genres where they belong.
Yeah.
Now I want to try to. I'm rereading this that they wrote. They put, as parents, do you have a change on the stance? Games don't need a rating because games don't cause someone to act out criminally. And then they gave kind of GTA and hookers and shootout.
There's no real proven evidence that.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to say. This is my take. I strongly cannot stand the people that say, oh, violence is up, or a kid acted out in violence because he was playing Call of Duty, or a kid did this because he saw it in GTA. There are TV shows and movies every day that have that stuff, and they seem to be okay that it isn't that. It used to be, at least when I was younger, it was movies and TV shows being attacked by that. And then people kind of left that, and now they're using video games to be the attacked. And the thing that pisses me off probably the most about it is the people saying that don't play games. They don't know. One of my favorite games that I've ever played, and I think maybe Taylor you might be the only one that's played this, is Spec Ops: The Line. Spec Ops: The Line is a military shooter that like takes what Call of Duty does. Everyone says, "Oh, Call of Duty messes with it." Listen, if you can't handle a game, then don't play the game, right? So, and that's okay. Just like if some movies give you PTSD or you're a military person and you don't want to revisit the military thing, I totally get it. If you don't want to see Saving Private Ryan or you don't want to see that. So if you don't want to play this, but that game effectively gave me emotions that I have never got from a game, but I get them from watching movies and TV shows. I want to play the game that makes me feel the same way a TV show or a movie show can feel. So I definitely think that needs rating. Now, does it make me want to go out and shoot a bunch of people? No, I think, and when it comes to kids, as parents, you clearly got to be able to separate them. Should games have ratings? Yes. Just like Kia said, it's up to the parent what they go. If you're not comfortable talking with your kid about something, they probably shouldn't play that game. That's just kind of my initial reaction to that. Do I think that it causes someone to be violent? I don't. I think that they're getting that from other things. I think saying that games cause that is an excuse, if that makes sense.
It
It's
makes
like
complete sense to me. It's a
using it
poor
as a
excuse.
scapegoat.
It's a poor excuse for someone who does not want to parent their child. And I'm not trying to be ugly to anyone, but that's how I feel. If you cannot sit down, if you are not comfortable explaining to your child what a hooker is, then they don't need to play GTA. 100%. They don't need to play it because you are not comfortable with explaining what it is.
Yeah. Now,
If you're
before
not comfortable explaining about guns, then don't let your child play a game that has that type of stuff
You know,
until you're comfortable with it.
yeah, and Ender jumps in here in chat real quick. He does say, why does the news get a pass in this conversation? Watch Dateline NBC if you want to watch something violent. And that's true. The news can portray violence way more than a movie or a game, and they can also direct that message in a certain way that sometimes games and movies and TV shows can't. Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that a game, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think that a game needs a rating just because I think games are the reason someone acts out in violence. I also don't think that because I don't think that games cause someone to act out in violence, that now games don't need a rating. I think games need a rating for all the things that we said.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they should be connected. I don't think that conversation should correlate together, in my opinion.
In my opinion, it doesn't correlate at all. I mean,
it's the same conversation when they attacked music too, and the lead singer from Twisted Sister went in front of the Supreme Court and made them all look stupid. The entire Supreme Court just made him look dumb because he wrote out a very educated speech because he's a well-educated man too, and just made them look dumb on the whole subject. So.
Yeah. And I know that it's GZDR4EV. I'm sure that probably is supposed to be pronounced a certain way. I'm just not seeing it. I can be taught. You can shame me later if you're still listening. You can go back if you're new to our podcast. You can go back. We've brought on psychologists in the past. We brought on gaming addiction experts. This is a topic that we love discussing. We love going into depth. We love hearing other people's sides. We try not to be one-sided about everything. We can certainly understand why someone might think that. Mm-hmm. That's why we always try to educate. That's what this podcast and this show is about educating and trying to help people understand. And like I said, we try to listen to all sides. It doesn't matter what it is. But so thank you so much for the comment. Like I said, we love getting to this conversation, not because we feel defensive, because we just want to feel like we're educating and helping people understand. And sometimes things come across that we never thought of before. So we really appreciate that. With that being said, guys, I think I'm going to let everyone go. So once again, Mrs. Shadow, Master of Shadows, congratulations from Parents vs. Gaming. Kia and I are probably excited that we're going to be bringing Taylor and Rachel back on the show quite a bit more. Taylor's already a part of the Last Choice Network team, so the fact that he is an actual parent now, he will be stopping in occasionally, as we definitely want to keep the updates and see how the gaming is going and what they see in the future. But thank you guys so much. With that being said, Kia, Taylor, Rachel, love you guys. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Have a good night.
Bye.